Okay, now I think I'm where I want to be. We're getting there. I should be in the right place this time. There we go. Yeah, I launched incorrectly. I started the live stream and I wasn't where I thought I was. So let's fix that. I'm here. It is Friday night here at the Man Cave again, and we're going to do our regular little live stream that we've been trying to do once a week. I don't have so much of an agenda this week, but I do have my beer, like always. If you're having a beer with me tonight, let me know what you're having, and I am going to see if I can pour a black and tan. Been feeling a little nostalgic this week, I guess. One of my favorite people is Irish, so we're gonna celebrate that a little bit tonight, and I'm gonna try to pour a respectable black and tan. We're gonna start out with a little over half of that glass with Harp, the Harp Lager, which is a nice Irish beer, and I've got my Guinness pub draft in the can here. And if you've ever had one of those, you know they got that nitrogen capsule in the bottom of the can that pops open when you open the can. So you're supposed to open this can and let it sit for a couple of minutes, but I don't think I'm going to give it a couple minutes. I'm going to get busy. I'm going to pour that over my spoon right into the head on this harp. That's looking pretty good. Okay. I'm not the world's worst. Not going to waste that either. So, heck, that looks pretty good. Black and tan. It's kind of hard to see on the camera there, but it's Harp Lager on the bottom, and actually what I have here is not the pub draft, it's the draft stout, but you know, it's beer and it's good. So like I said, one of my favorite people is Irish. I don't get to see him as frequently I used to, but here's one for Bobby Brennan. If it weren't for Bobby, I probably wouldn't be sitting here in front of you guys tonight. Those of you who don't know who Bobby is the former owner and founder of Kamado Joe. So, yeah, he's a great person, and I really miss the fact that he's not with us in that capacity anymore. So, yeah, raise a glass for Bobby tonight. Alrighty, that's that. And y'all let me get out of here last week. I ran my mouth so long about pellet grills, I forgot the gadget of the week, so I'm just kind of bringing that forward to this week. We'll get to that at the end of the show here, the end of the live stream. But what I thought I'd talk about some tonight is Thanksgiving. The 1st of November is just around the corner, and everybody's starting to think about Thanksgiving, and in our little social media community, that's a big deal for us because we like putting that turkey on the grill or on the smoker or whatever you're cooking on. It's a big deal. I've done a lot of turkeys on the grills since I've started doing this. I've done them quite a few different treatments, and I'd like to start out by saying, first of all, I'm just not a fan of turkey. I've told some of my friends this. Some of you have heard me say it before. Turkey's okay, but the thing I don't like about turkey is it takes a lot of work to make one of them and do it well. Anybody can make an average turkey, but to make an exemplary turkey, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of prep, and when everything's said and done, it's still turkey. And in my mind, turkey's not all that great. I got a little lesson in this, or a little reinforcement in this week when I went shopping. I'm going to make my Atlanta Grill Company turkey video first part of this coming week. So I went shopping for a turkey the other day, and I'm a little early. The inexpensive turkeys aren't out there yet, and all the turkeys I was running across were $2.69 a pound, and they were all huge. They were all, I think the smallest one I found was 18 pounds, and I didn't want to spend, $60+ on a turkey. I looked out and found one. I like turkeys that are in the 12 to 14 pound range. Out of all the turkeys I've cooked in my life, I think the best tasting ones in terms of taste and texture are in that 12 to 14 pound range, and that's what I like to cook. So I found one that wasn't unreasonably priced, so I bought it. And of course it was frozen solid, so it's been in my refrigerator for a couple days, but we're going to possibly cook that bird on Tuesday. I'm going to have to wait and see if I can get it in the brine on Monday. I should be able to get it. If I don't cook it on Tuesday, I'm going to cook it Wednesday for sure. I'm going to get it done in the first half of the week. But we're going to brine this bird, and we're going to inject it as well. And in my opinion, brining's not that critical, especially if you're buying a bird that's been injected with whatever the saline solution is that they inject at these processing plants. Unfortunately for me, I don't live in an area where I can get a fresh turkey or get it very easily. I'd have to start planning this in the spring probably if I wanted to try to get a fresh turkey. And the farms that do that are several hours away from me. They're a long way off, and those birds are quite expensive comparatively. I'm sure they're great, but that kind of bird needs to be brined. I don't have any problem with brining that. I don't have any problem with rebrining a bird that's already been injected because we're not going to oversalt it. But you have to be real careful if you brine a bird that you've bought at the grocery store. You're going to want to look at the nutrition label on that bird and get an idea how much salt's already in that thing. They have a lot usually, but the thing about brining is you're not going to add more salt to that bird unless you make a brine that's got a higher concentration of salt in it than whatever brine went in the bird. You can actually unbrine a bird. If the bird's going to equalize to whatever salt volume you've made in your brine. So if you want to go ahead and brine it, feel free to do that, but you're going to want to tone the brine down. I typically, on a general brine recipe, I like to use 1 cup of salt, 1/2 a cup of sugar to 1 gallon of water. And that's a fairly high salt concentration, but you're not going to brine this bird but for an hour to an hour and a half per pound. You're going to go, anywhere from 12 to 18 hours in the brine, so you're not really going to hurt it, but you can tone that down if you want to. In my opinion, which is, once again, my opinion, I don't think you need to have the salt content in the bird over about 3%, which is about the same as seawater. So you can figure out your brine if you want to by weight and figure out how much salt you need to have a 3% solution. If you do it on the metric system, it's quite easy. 1 liter of water would have 30 grams of salt in it to give you a 3% solution, and you can just extrapolate that to come up with whatever you need. The sugar is not critical one way or the other. The thing about sugar in a brine, one of the things I like about having the sugar in the brine, is the sugar actually helps with the browning. It helps with that Maillard reaction if you're cooking hot enough to get that. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm going to do this. I like injecting the turkey to put my flavor in it. And I'm going to do something different this turkey than any of the ones I've done in the past. So we'll have video coming out next week on turkey. I want to get the turkey video out right away in the first part of November. And I'm going to be focusing the rest of November doing some side dishes and things that I think are excellent sides and excellent additional things to think about having on your Thanksgiving table. Today, I put out the stuffing recipe. It's actually a minor modification of a previous recipe that I've done to Bobby. And the stuffing is very popular at Thanksgiving. It just is. And lots of people do it lots of different ways. My recipe is just one of hundreds. So take that as you will. If you have a look at it, and feel free to try it. But with the turkey this year also, I want to do something else I've never done that I get asked to do all the time. They want to know, everybody wants to know why I didn't show how to make a pan gravy after I've made a turkey. And there's a reason I haven't done that. And I'm going to tell you what that reason is. Most of the time, when I cook a turkey, I'm cooking hot. I cook my turkeys way hotter than most people do. I like to be up around 425 because I want the skin on my turkey to have a good bite to it. And the hotter I cook it, the better that is. It turns out better for me. And cooking at 425, even if I've got a pan underneath my turkey, I don't have a whole lot of liquid left behind after that cook. And the reason I don't make a pan gravy is because I don't have a whole lot left there to make a pan gravy with. But I'm going to show you how to make a gravy. And if you've got pan drippings you can collect, I'm going to show you how to do that with the pan drippings, because you're going to need more than just the pan drippings to make your gravy. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a note right here that you might want to keep in the back of your mind. This is an easy recipe for pan gravy. You can do this with anything. You got to remember your pan gravy. If you can remember 1 to 1 to 1, you can make a pan gravy anytime you want. So the first one is butter. Let's say we're going to make 1 cup of gravy. That'll just keep things simple. If we want to make roughly 1 cup of gravy, we're going to use 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 tablespoon of pan drippings. I'm sorry, not 1 tablespoon, 1 cup. We're going to do 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon, 1 cup. There's 1 at each of those. So to make that pan gravy, you melt the butter in a saucepan, and then you whisk in your flour and let that do its thing till that flour starts to brown a little bit, and then you put your pan drippings in. Now, most people are going to make more than a cup. You're going to want to make 3 or 4 cups of pan gravy, depending on how many people you're feeding and what you might put that gravy on. So let's say if we're going to do 3 cups, you're not going to end up with 3 cups of drippings from any turkey or any chicken or anything like that. So you're going to end up with maybe 1 cup if you're lucky. So you still need 3 cups. So you're going to make up the difference with chicken stock. So if you're going to make 3 cups of a pan gravy, you take 3 tablespoons of butter, melt it, whisk in 3 tablespoons of flour, and work that until it starts to change color, starts to turn a little brown. And then you have your pan drippings. You can just mix your pan drippings in with your chicken stock if you want to, or put it in separately. Either way, you're going to put that in, and you're going to whisk it in slowly and work it until you get all that liquid worked in, until everything is the consistency you want it to be. And once you have that, you're going to add salt and pepper to taste and make that taste like you want to. And I think you're going to want to add chopped thyme and chopped sage to that as well. for the flavor those herbs bring to that gravy, and just put it in a saucepan and let it simmer a little bit until it gets to the consistency you want. That's easy. It's so easy to make a pan gravy. That's all there is to it. It's 1 to 1 to 1, and you cook it till it looks good, and it doesn't take long. That whole process may take 8 minutes, 10 minutes max. So make your pan gravy, put it in a gravy boat, and it stays warm for a while in there. You know, it's real easy to do. But like I said, I haven't done that because I usually don't collect a lot of pan drippings. There are burnt bits and whatnot in the bottom of my pan, and you can deglaze the bottom of that pan with some chicken stock if you want to collect that stuff that is there. But like I said, I don't have a lot of liquid laying around in the bottom of my pan when I'm done with the turkey. If I was cooking my turkey at 325 or 350, I'd probably have more of that. And there are things you can do to enhance the amount of liquid you collect. There's all kinds of tricks you can do to keep that from burning off by the way you do it, but I just don't mess with it. But like I said, in this upcoming video, we're going to make pan gravy. Whether it has anything from the actual pan in it or not, it won't matter because I've just told you what to do, and I'll talk about that again in that video. So that's the story with what I want to do with the turkey video. But I like to cook 400, 425. And there's another thing about cooking turkeys, especially if you're going to cook hot like I do, that you're going to want to be aware of. Your electronic temperature probes that you put in that meat is not going to work well on a turkey. That's when you're cooking at that temperature. I have tried multiple thermometer systems, ThermoWorks stuff, all of them. I haven't tried the current new stuff that I have because I actually just quit trying it because I know what the results are going to be. But if you take a temperature probe and stick this probe down into the turkey, this is shorter than my average probe. Let's say that much of the probe is buried into the turkey and this other part's sticking out up here. When you're cooking at 400 or 425, this part up here gets hot enough that it radiates heat down into here. So after your turkey's been on for a while, the temperature reading that you're going to get here is going to be skewed by the heat that's radiating down that thermometer into that probe. I've had this happen countless times where I've had completely accurate temperature probes tell me that my turkey's up to 155 degrees, and I'll stick a thermopin in there behind it, and I'm at 130 or 125. So if you're going to run a probe to monitor that meat while you're cooking it, double check it with instant read thermometer. And I would do that anytime you're cooking over about 300 or 350 because the likelihood of that number being wrong is high. I've had it wrong a lot of times. So last week I republished my what I call Turkey 101. You can find it on the Man Cave Meals Facebook page. I also published it with on the Atlanta Grill Company Facebook page last week and it's a guide that I put together several years ago because this time of year my inbox on Facebook fills up with messages. People want, they want advice on how to cook a turkey. So I decided to write this thing. I sat down and wrote it, and I quoted a lot of sources in it and I gave links to sources of everything that I talked about there. But I think everything you could ever want to know about how to cook your turkey or what to do is in there. I covered a whole lot of different things, a whole lot of different cooking techniques, and talked way more about the bird itself than you'd ever want to know. We run into the same situation in December. Everybody wants to know how to cook a prime rib. So I'm going to do a prime rib. I'm going to do it. It'll probably be the first video I put out during the month of December. But I've already started. I'm putting together a prime rib 101 document as well that we can do the same sort of thing with because prime rib's easy to cook. Turkey is not so easy to cook compared to prime rib. Prime rib is one of the easiest things I've ever cooked. It's almost like a Boston butt. It's hard to mess it up unless you just overcook it. And I'm going to talk about different ways to cook the prime rib, different goals you can shoot for, and answer all those questions that I get in my inbox. And I typically, when I still get those questions, which I will, I'll copy and paste that as an answer, and it's usually more answer than anybody wanted, but whatever they ask me is usually covered there. And if it's not, I'm going to add it to it, because the next time I share that document out, it'll have the answer that I missed, and we'll go from there. And some of the side dishes, some of the side things that I'm going to put together, I should have printed out my list. I've got my videos planned all the way through mid-December, and a lot of these weeks we're going to have 2 videos. I've been doing some of these Thursday videos that are shorter videos that are side item things, which may or may not even be something done on the grill, and we're going to have quite a bit of that stuff. I'm going to do some veggie sides for Thanksgiving this year that I haven't done in the past. We're going to have some. I've got one video coming up that I'm going to do that's a double. It's going to have some carrots and green beans that are perfect sides, and they're easy to do. You can do them on the grill. And I'm going to do potatoes au gratin. I'm going to do a mashed potatoes video as well, because I don't think I've ever done that. And I'll probably, I'll cook the potatoes on the grill maybe before I mash them. But I want to do some sort of cool signature sort of mashed potatoes recipe, because mashed potatoes are common, and it's nice to have turkey with mashed potatoes. Some people do rice, some people do potatoes. My family is kind of both ways. When I was young, at my grandmother's house, we would frequently have rice. But at my mom's Thanksgiving dinner table, we had mashed potatoes. And I want to do something fun with mashed potatoes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but we'll have that up. And by the time I shoot it, I'll definitely know what we're going to do. If you have any cool ideas for mashed potatoes, tell me about it. But leave the bacon out. I'm not putting bacon in my mashed potatoes. And maybe... I don't know. I don't want to give away my ideas yet. I have some, but we'll save them till the time comes. If there's any side dishes that you think are really important at Thanksgiving and Christmas, let me know what they are, and I'll make sure I try to get some. With this Atlanta Grill Company Facebook video project and the stuff I'm building at Atlanta Grill Company's YouTube channel, I'm trying to apply some of the things I've learned in the last 7 or 8 years. And one of the things I've always been short on side dishes. And that was brought to my attention this year. And I'm trying to make sure that if somebody comes to our Atlanta Grill Company YouTube channel and wants to plan a meal, I want to make sure that all the proteins are there. Yeah, I see the smoked mac and cheese. Yeah. That's the way I like to think. That's good stuff. So I've made smoked mac and cheese, and I think that video's already out there. But yeah, that's a staple as well. The cheese grits is another one that I love. But we're going to get side dishes. I want to make sure that if somebody comes to that YouTube channel or to Atlanta Grill Company's Facebook page to plan a meal, I want the proteins to be there, obviously, because those are the keys. That's what we do on the grill, but I want them to be able to plan a whole meal of stuff that can be done on the grill, or it doesn't have to be done on the grill. All these sides that I'm doing, you don't have to cook any of that on the grill. You can cook it on the stovetop or in the oven, just whatever method suits you. And that brings up another topic I wanted to talk about is what can you get away with doing on the grill on Thanksgiving? If you're going to cook that big bird on the grill, you can do a lot more than you think. If you've got an 18-pounder or a 20-pounder and you're cooking it on the Classic or on an 18-inch Kamado grill, you don't have a lot of space for other stuff. But turkey, when I cook this turkey at 425 degrees or whatever, when that turkey's done, I'm going to wrap that turkey up in a double or a triple layer of aluminum foil, and I'm going to throw it in my cooler just like I would a Boston butt. I'm going to preheat the cooler, and I'm going to put that in there, and that turkey's going to be good and warm for 2 hours, if not more. So if I want to get that turkey done early, that frees up my grill. I've got my grill available to do the stuffing that we just did. Was an hour total, hour and 5 minutes. It wasn't very long. And you know, this carrots and green beans that I'm going to do, we're going to be looking at that process is going to be 30 or 40 minutes. So the stuffing can definitely be done, and then you can put a little bit of foil over that and put that in your oven and just keep it warm and finish up with the carrots and green beans. And then you've got a meal there almost. You've got turkey. You're going to have gravy when we're done with that. You can make the gravy, if you're not going to use pan drippings, you can make your gravy in advance. That's a wonderful thing about gravy. You can make the carrots and green beans I'm talking about that I'm going to do a video on. That takes 30 or 40 minutes to do those. So you've got turkey, stuffing, green beans, carrots, and you've got a pan gravy. And if you're going to have a dessert, we're going to have a pumpkin. I'm going to do my pumpkin pie again, which can be done on the grill or in the oven, and that can be done a day ahead or 2 days ahead or whatever. I made pumpkin bread today, which is my mom's recipe. I think I mentioned that last week. My mom gave me a recipe, and I actually shot the intro to that video the other day with my mom, so that'll be coming up. That's coming up this week also. I'm going to publish that video, the pumpkin bread. Pumpkin bread's not really bread. It's more like a cake. It's sweet, and it's delicious. And I put some golden raisins in this one that I had soaked overnight in Jack Daniels, and oh boy, it was good. I made the mistake of tasting a couple of the raisins by themselves before I put them in the batter, and it's a good thing I was ready to cook, because I could have eaten the whole. I used 3/4 of a cup of raisins across two loaves of that pumpkin bread, and man, they were good. It was delicious. So that's something else that can be done in advance. Mashed potatoes come together quickly. You can actually, if you want to make a mashed potatoes to go along with your Thanksgiving meal, you can put the potatoes on while your turkey's cooking. And if you're cooking at 400 or 425, which I know most people don't, you're looking at about an hour to cook most of your baked potatoes. But you can cook those, and you can keep them warm in a warming oven also until you're ready to mash them. If you've got an oven that is not in use, or a toaster oven or something, turn that thing on and turn it on at its lowest temperature, like 170, and keep stuff in there to keep it warm. If you've got a gas grill's a fantastic warming oven, especially if it's multiple burners. You can turn one burner on and keep the temperature low in there and keep stuff in it, keep it hot and ready to serve. Lots of ways to keep a lot of things going where you can do more on your grill if you want to. But don't feel compelled to cook everything on your grill. It's not necessary, and I know a lot of people want to do it. So it's going to be, you know, a lot of work on Thanksgiving Day, and do as much as you can ahead of time. If you can make that pumpkin pie in advance, do it. Get everything done before Thanksgiving Day that you can, where on Thanksgiving Day all you've got's a couple things to worry about. And enjoy it. Don't let the cooking be a burden. Make it. For me, cooking's my favorite part of the event. So, what do we have? We've got, I don't know, 4 weeks. We got 4 weeks till Thanksgiving. So, give it a shot. Hang on a minute here. Yeah. Sharon, yeah, I saw your comment come by there about with my mom. I'm not actually cooking with my mom on this video. I just had mom, and mom actually doesn't even have a speaking role in the intro. I just shot the intro with her, but I'd like to do something, get mom in the kitchen with me, because if my mom wasn't such a great cook, I'd probably have no interest in cooking today like I do. My mom's a fantastic cook. My mom and I, my mom, it's funny when we're talking. You'd think that I'm still her 10-year-old son, and here I am. I'm 52, and it feels like I'm still her 10-year-old son. So we get into a lot of conversations about cooking. So I get a little cocky with her sometimes, because sometimes I think some of the stuff I do, I'm not going to say, I won't sit here and say that it's better than what my mom does, but I expand on some of the things my mom's done in the past. I've taken some of her ideas and gone my direction with it. And sometimes all you got to do is change the way you're cooking it. And as you all know, I like to say, if you can cook it in the oven, you can cook it on the grill. And sometimes just cooking it on the grill brings a new flavor element to it that you didn't get otherwise, and it changes everything. It makes everything into what we do. So, you know, it's fun. Mom, in the intro to this video, I talked about mom was holding out on me on this recipe. She's been making pumpkin bread for us for years, and even as young kids. And when I finally got the recipe from her, I looked at it, and the recipe has 2 optional items in it, both of which are nuts and raisins. And I don't recall her ever making pumpkin bread with nuts or raisins in it, but there it is on the recipe, and it says optional. I don't like nuts. My mom knows I don't like nuts. I don't like any kind of nuts. I'm weird like that. That's one of my oddities that you learn about me, is I don't like nuts. And she never put nuts in it because she knew I wouldn't eat it. But the raisins are a different story. I love raisins. And I've never had her pumpkin bread with raisins in it until today. I made it today, and like I said, I soaked those raisins in Jack Daniels, and that's something else my mom never would have done. She might have put the raisins in it, but she would not have soaked them in whiskey. So there we are. And I don't have a lot more to say on Thanksgiving. I don't want to ramble, but I do want to talk. Since I forgot the gadget last week, I'm going to bring it up. And this actually came out on a post for Atlanta Grill Company today. If you don't have one of these, you need one, especially if you like cooking turkey. This is, I don't remember what brand this one is. Oddly enough, I didn't buy this. My nephew, my sister's son, gave me this for Christmas, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And it's about a 4-ounce stainless steel meat injector that's got 3 different syringes that go with it. It's great. It's easy to clean. Each of these, I always do this one by hand, but each of these, there's an O-ring on the syringe that helps it form a leak-free connection up into here. But you could take these O-rings off, and then you could put these in the dishwasher if you want to. This one did not come with a little brush. Some of these that you get come with a little, like a pipe cleaner brush that you can get down inside of here and clean the inside with. This one didn't come with that, so I typically take those O-rings off when I'm done with that, and I'll soak it in hot soapy water to get it good and clean, because I'm rarely ever just injecting something that's liquid. I'm injecting a butter or a fat. with these things, and you're going to see that with this turkey. This one came with a couple of extra O-rings in case your O-rings ever go bad. But I went to look. Atlanta Grill Company has one that's almost identical to this on their website. I can't remember what the name brand of it is, but I think it's about $40 for one like this. And I think theirs does come with the little cleaning brushes. So if you want to inject meat, if you want to buy an injector, buy stainless steel. I've had several other injectors in the past that weren't stainless steel, and I'll never go back. I may never need another one with this. The only thing I might need is O-rings, and I should be able to go to a hardware store or something and get a compatible O-ring to fit that should I ever need to replace these. But this is the way to go. I've had some expensive injectors also. I once had it's called a spit jack. It's really nice. If you want to see a really nice injector, go look up spit jack, SPITJACK. You'll find it. It's really expensive, and I gave that thing away. I used it for a while, but it was, in my opinion, it was a pain in the hind end to clean. It was just not as easy to clean as something like this. So this is the gadget of the week. If you need an injector or don't have one and are planning to get one like this. Get the larger one. They make one that's about half this size, but get the bigger one, and go from there. Yeah, Luca just pasted a link to this Outset 6-piece in the chat or in the comments here. That's the one you want. That thing is identical to this. It's just under a different brand name. I looked very closely at that one, and I can't tell any difference between what I have here and that's the one you want. So if you're looking for an injector, get that one, and you won't be let down by that. And that injector, like I said, will last you a lifetime. I don't know if it comes with extra O-rings, but like I said, O-rings are easy to get. And with that, I think I'm going to call it a night. It's been a busy week here at the house. Ever since we got back from our little road trip, everything at the house here has been in a huge state of disarray. There's some remodeling going on upstairs that's involving painting, crown molding, chair rails, baseboards, a whole lot of work, and everything is out of place, and it's a mess. The man cave is my only source of serenity here, but I can still hear the hammers and whatnot going on upstairs. So we'll get all that back together and keep an eye open for the videos. And like I said, if there's something you'd like to see, some side dish that you like, let me know what it is. And yes, at some point, I'm going to do something else with Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts, but I haven't given up on them yet. People keep telling me that if I can get them cooked properly, that I'm going to like Brussels sprouts. I haven't been there yet. I haven't gotten there, but I have been doing some research on cooking Brussels sprouts, and the online culinary classes that I'm taking, the guy that runs that show did a brief live session a while back, and he cooked some Brussels sprouts, and I was inspired by what I saw him do with those. So I'm gonna try it. I need a steamer. I don't own a steamer. I don't even own a basket insert that I can put in a saucepan to turn it into a steamer. So I've got to get something where I can set up this. What he did was really nice. It was really elegant. Also, he cut the stems off, and then he halved his Brussels sprouts, and then he tossed them in the steamer for like 10 minutes, and then he knew exactly how many he wanted. He was fixing a dinner for himself and his wife, and they were going to have like 6 or 8 Brussels sprout halves a piece. So that's all he cooked, and he put them had a pan hot when those things came out of the steamer with a little bit of clarified butter in the pan, and he put those in there face down, flat side down in the butter, and gave those things a beautiful sear. And once they had the sear on the flat side, then he started tossing them to get a little bit of that on the outside. And of course, salt and pepper. I think there was some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano involved, or Pecorino Romano or something. That it looked really good, and it inspired me to want to try that. And speaking of my online culinary classes, one additional note before I leave: when you're cooking, one of the most important lessons I've learned through this training I've been taking is using flavorful liquids when you cook. I have almost stopped using water. I never add water to anything anymore, or I never cook in just plain water. When I cook rice now, I'm cooking it in a stock. When I cook grits, I'm using a stock and a heavy cream or half and half or whatever. Use a flavorful liquid anytime you can. Anytime you can use something other than water, you're going to like your results better, and experiment with it. Use vegetable stocks. Use chicken stocks. You don't have to use them at full strength. If you want to cook rice and have it taste at a next level in terms of flavor, use a diluted chicken stock or a diluted vegetable stock. Play around with it to find out what kind of dilution you need to make it taste the way you want, and experiment with it. And I guarantee you're going to like it better. I've made breads. I was doing that before I knew what I was doing, though. I'll make breads with beer instead of water. And in fact, I've made real sourdough loaves with Guinness, and it was absolutely delicious. So that's all I've got for tonight. And one more time to Bobby, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.